Have you got an air fryer, but you're just not sure what to make in it? I got you. I've compiled 20 of my family's favorite snacks and sides that you can whip up in your air fryer. Are you ready to get inspired with your air fryer? Let's go. So first, we're gonna take your typical grilled cheese sando and whip it up in the air fryer. For best results, I do suggest that you use a bread that is nice and dense and a little bit moist. The cheap white bread that you buy at the store, it just won't turn out as nice as a moist, thick bread. Then you just make up your grilled cheese sandwich like you always do. Today, I'm using some sharp cheddar and some white aged cheddar for my sandwich, and I'm just doing some simple butter there on the outside of the bread. Now, when it comes to cheese in the air fryer, I always like to use parchment paper just because I do not enjoy cleaning cheese out of the air fryer basket. And if you don't have any air fryer parchment paper and want to learn more about that, I have a whole video about air fryer accessories. I'll also just leave a link down below where you can check it out on Amazon. It's pretty cheap. Pop it in the air fryer at 350 for 3 to 4 minutes. And then when it's done, flip it over to toast up the other side. And there you can see how easy that parchment paper makes the cleanup. Listen to this crunch. Perfectly melted cheese. Oh my, it's so good. Fresh fruit in the air fryer? I bet you haven't tried that one. Half cup of brown sugar, a half cup of orange juice, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and just whisk that up. Chopped up about a cup of peaches, cup of mango fruit, and then a cup of pineapple, and stir it up in this yummy marinade glaze. Preheat your air fryer. Put my fruit right inside of my basket. Pop this in 390 for 4 minutes. Ooh. Stir 4 more minutes. Oh wow. Okay, that's looking pretty beautiful and roasted.
2 thumbs up for me.
Definitely 5 stars. I got a nice comment from a viewer the other day asking for the perfect baked potato or jacket potato. So here you go, FDH. First, scrub your potatoes and then poke them about 4 times with a fork, and then you need to dry them as best you can. And here is the fun part. Just spray a little oil on them and just massage your potatoes. Then sprinkle on a little sea salt. Now these are smaller potatoes, as you can see, so I was able to fit 6 in my basket. You just want to make sure there's room for air to circulate around the potatoes, so place them carefully in the basket. And you're gonna bake these cute little potatoes at 400, anywhere from 35 to 50 minutes, depending on how big they are. Whip up some chili. I just grabbed my handy can. Now after 35 minutes, you can check your potatoes. You could either poke them with a knife, or I do better just giving them a squeeze. You have got to try baked potatoes in your air fryer. They are so soft and incredibly fluffy. Corn on the cob, you know it. You just need clean corn, spray a little oil, rub it all over, close it up, 400, 8 minutes. Be sure to flip it at the halfway point. Butter, salt, and pepper, done. And amazing. And by the way, you can find most of these recipes, plus like 50 more, in my air fryer recipe book. You can learn more about that at yummyairfryerrecipes.com. Air fryer Brussels sprouts? Now I am an Idaho girl and I grew up on potatoes, not Brussels sprouts. But this recipe, it's so delicious, even my children will eat it. You can't go wrong when you're adding bacon, right? I'm chopping about 4 slices into 1/2-inch pieces. I'm gonna set that aside. I've got a pound of Brussels sprouts. First, I took off the loosey-goosey leaves. I gave them a quick little rinse, and then chop off the hard end, rotate it so the flat side's down, and chop it in half. It's so easy. If little leaves fall off, no big deal. Just set them off to the side. You don't want those. I guess you could air fry those too and make them crispy. Then give it one more nice wash there. I love my strainer. In a mixing bowl, get a 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup, and then some avocado oil, about 2 tablespoons, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and then whisk that up. Toss in your bacon, then drop in your clean Brussels sprouts, and gently stir away. Just want to coat everything evenly, pop it in the air fryer, spread it out, and you're gonna cook this at 350 for 10 minutes. I'm using my snowflake preset, so it reminds me to shake. At this point, I'm gonna give it a little mix and pop it back in to keep on cooking. It's cooked now, but I want it more crispy, more roasted. So I'm going in for 3 more minutes at 350, and bada bing, bada boom. You better believe it smells amazing with that bacon. Check it out, even my 15-year-old enjoyed it. Quick and easy, toast, ham, egg, cheese, all in one cup. Start with 4 6-ounce ramekins and butter each dish. Get 4 to 8 slices of your favorite bread. Flatten them out, line your buttered ramekin dish. Get your favorite breakfast ham, cut it up into some slices, line the breakfast bowl. 4 eggs, right inside your cups. Add in a little salt, a little pepper, maybe even a little cheese. Did someone say cheese? Air fry 320 for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, the yolk is pretty runny still. You can scramble it up and cook it up for 3 to 5 more minutes. And they are done. Use silicone tongs to lift those out. Fast and easy breakfast for the win. I have tested out fresh broccoli in the air fryer, and I gotta say I'm not a big fan of it. If you found a way that works wonderfully, tell me. But roasting frozen broccoli, that's my jam. You've got to see how simple this one is. I just have this big bag from Costco that has 4 1-pound bags of frozen broccoli right inside of it. It is so simple and it's so much better than microwaving or stovetop. You just dump your frozen broccoli right in the basket, spread it out so it's nice and even, and cook it at 300 for 10 minutes. At the halfway point, give it a stir, and then you pop it back in. It's so simple. After the 10 minutes of cooking, if you want to crisp it up just a little bit, you could spray on a little bit of oil and salt and pepper it, and then I just blasted it at 400 for 1 more minute. And you guys, my kids gobble this up. It is so good. Oh, you're gonna love using your air fryer to saute onions. Slice your onion, put it right in your air fryer. I've got avocado oil and I'm just gonna coat my onions. I'm gonna stir it up with my hands because that's how I roll. Give it a little more oil and I'm shaking on some kosher salt. Pop it in the air fryer, 380 for 10 minutes. Time to take a peek at these bad boys. Looking good. Hear that sizzle. Just stir them up, pop it back in. Oh, they look gorgeous. You can cook these longer if you want to, but for me, oh man, they are perfect. Oh, I love them. Check out this super fun way to eat some mini sweet peppers. This is Amazingness 2.0. Start with some mini sweet peppers, cream cheese, and everything but the bagel seasoning. Wash your peppers and cut them in half lengthwise. And if you want to, cut out the seeds inside. Pat them dry, and then fill the peppers with some cream cheese. Put some parchment paper in your basket if you want, and set the peppers right inside the basket. Sprinkle with some seasoning, pop it in the air fryer, and cook it at 380 for about 8 minutes. And check it out, these are done. Oh, I've got to try one out. So good. You want some of these bad boys cooked up in your air fryer? Yes, you can. Make your little dough balls. I prefer to use Rhodes frozen rolls and let them thaw. Preheat the air fryer. Melt 2 tablespoons of butter. When the preheat's done, it's time to rise. Place some parchment paper, then place the rolls. Drizzle with butter. Sprinkle with garlic salt, optional. Pop it in the air fryer. Let it rise for about 20 minutes. Rolls have risen. Start at 320 for 10 minutes. Rolls are looking beautiful. But are they done? We shall see. According to our sheet, bread and rolls need to be cooked to about 180, 190 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's check it out. And perfecto. Brush with butter. Beautiful, steamy, luscious dinner rolls. You didn't even have to turn on your oven. Sausage and bacon in the air fryer is so hands off, it frees up your stove for all your other breakfast things, and cleanup is a breeze. I'm gonna show you how to do both of these. And in the beginning, I would cut my bacon down and I didn't want them touching, but I found, obviously bacon shrinks, so I just kinda shimmied in there. And I'm gonna put some sausage in here. One common problem with bacon and greasy foods in the air fryer is that it smokes crazy. There's 2 different things you can do. You can put water at the bottom of the pan, or I usually grab the end of a bread loaf and stick it underneath the basket to absorb the grease. And then, like I said, there's that preset button, 320 for 8 minutes. And then we can add on from there if we need to. So now, depending on how thick your bacon is, it might be done, or you can just give it some more time. You can crank up the heat for more crispiness. I'm just gonna shuffle these guys around. And now I'm gonna crank it up to 370 for 5 more minutes. And that, my friends, is how you do bacon and sausage in the air fryer. I'm just gonna let this cool down and wipe it out with a paper towel. We are making some frozen chicken wings in the air fryer. Yes, frozen. So I just have this big old bag from Costco, and you know what, you guys, I just eyeball it and dumped a bunch in there. It's okay here in the beginning if it's crammed with your frozen chicken wings because they're gonna shrink as they cook. And I'm not even gonna spray them because they're full of fat. So this first set, we're gonna do 10 minutes at 350 degrees. That is gonna thaw out the wings. Now you can see they are all thawed out, and I'm gonna just place them in the basket here a little bit better. And I'm gonna season just with pepper and some garlic salt. I don't have a measurement for you guys, just, you know, wing it, do whatever looks good to you. I flipped them and put the seasoning on both sides. So we're gonna bump it up now to 380 degrees and cook them for 25 minutes. Here it is about the halfway point. They are sizzling already. I'm gonna go ahead and just flip those around, let that finish cooking. They are pretty much cooked. I like to give them one more spin, and now I just throw on my homemade Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. I have a link to that down in the description below. You can use whatever barbecue sauce you like, but I love this homemade stuff. And then just turn up your air fryer. Mine goes all the way up to 400, and just cook it for 5 more minutes. And you can see, look at that, they are caramelized and beautiful. My teenage boys devoured these in minutes. They are so good and so incredibly easy, you guys. Okay, somebody, I cannot remember who, told me about this brand at Costco. I love the healthiness of it, and I really like the macros on this. And look, another one that has air fryer instructions. Let's see how true this is. I'm gonna just test out a few here. Let's see if they are spot on about that time and temp. All right, I did not even shake these or anything, but they are sizzling and look fantastic. These are called Barely There chicken nuggets. They're healthier.
Barely there.
But it's real chicken. Ready? Go.
Hot.
Those are really good. Can you taste it yet?
It's not like vegan chicken.
It's like grilled chicken, and it's super yummy. Oh, look how nice that meat is. This is impressive. This is now a regular on my shopping list. Thank you to whoever told me to put this on my list. Croutons are amazing when you make them in your air fryer. Check this out. Cube your favorite bread. Spray it with your favorite oil. Salt, pepper, garlic powder, worried about it blowing all over the place? Set a rack on it. 370, 5 minutes. Salad's ready. Here come the croutons. Another one of my favorites, and it's ready in minutes. Wash and dry the asparagus, toss with oil, salt, and pepper. Cook at 400 for 6 to 8 minutes. Toss it halfway through. Cook it until it's as tender as you like. Homemade granola in your air fryer. You're not gonna believe it. Get 1.5 cups of old-fashioned oats, 1/4 cup of unsweetened coconut flakes, 1/2 cup of shelled pumpkin seeds, 2 tablespoons flaxseed, and just stir to combine and set aside. Then get 2 tablespoons or 42 grams of honey, 2 tablespoons of real maple syrup or 40 grams, 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil that's slightly cooled, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Heat it up in the microwave for 15 seconds. Then just whisk it up till it's nice and smooth. Then drizzle your liquid mixture over your granola and stir to combine. Just go ahead and pour the granola right into your air fryer and spread it out in an even layer. pop it in the air fryer. We'll start at 340 for 6 minutes. Oh, it's looking wonderful. Give it a little stir. Go back to 320 for 6 minutes and stir it again at 3 minutes. Give it another stir and let it finish up. Oh, and it's gorgeous. Now just let it cool on a parchment-lined cookie sheet. Spread it out so it cools down nice and evenly. And look, hardly any fell to the bottom. Beef jerky air fryer recipe. So no, the air fryer is not a dehydrator, but if it goes low enough, it can get the job done. So the first thing I did was go to the butcher and I asked him, what kind of meat should I use for beef jerky? Then I asked him to slice it nice and thin for me, because you know how lazy I am in the kitchen, right? So Karen told me about this recipe from allrecipes.com, and it works with 2 pounds of meat, but I only requested about a pound. So I'm gonna cut the recipe in half. I pulled out all the ingredients and let's throw it together. I got 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon of liquid smoke, a tablespoon of brown sugar, a teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of pepper, a half teaspoon of this meat tenderizer, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, a half teaspoon of onion powder, and a half teaspoon of smoked paprika or regular paprika. And we'll whisk that up. Now, since he did all the hard work for me, I'm just gonna cut these into little strips. It doesn't need to be perfect here, friends, just so you get that average beef jerky size. And I'm just plopping these in as I go. Then just mix that meat around so everything is coated nicely. It's already smelling really good. Then I'm just gonna cover it up. Then we're popping it in the fridge overnight. Okay, it's been probably 24 hours. It is time to dehydrate the beef jerky. So first you wanna lay out all of your meat. We're just gonna pat the moisture out of the beef jerky because at this point we really wanna get it nice and dry. So a few options here. You could lay your beef jerky out here, but I do still have quite a bit. Another option is that I've seen people put them on skewers. I have seen on a YouTube video where they kind of wedged it in the little grooves, but that would not work in my particular air fryer. So I'm gonna just try using my accessory here. I've got the larger 1.5 inch rise. I'm gonna put it down there. I am a little concerned. I'm curious if the meat is gonna stick to the wire here. I'm just gonna place some of these down, and then here's what I've got left. To make one more layer, I'm just gonna use my little skewers and make one more level to lay my meat out. Last little piece. I don't know, let's see how that does. Okay, there she goes. And now we're gonna bring it all the way down to 180. Looks like my air fryer goes down to 170, but the directions say 180, so let's just see how that goes. And I'm gonna crank it up 45 minutes. There we go. Okay, here we go. Let's take a peek. This looks good. I think we can give it maybe 15 more minutes. There's still quite a bit of moisture, but these look really nice. So we will go back to 180 and we'll go 15 more minutes. All right, it's done and it looks really nice. Time to taste test. Okay, finding some beef jerky here. It's nice.
Oh.
Chewy.
Small one.
Ready? Taste test?
It's hot. Spicy. Not spicy.
That was good. How many stars do you give it? Here's a butter piece.
Out of 5.
I say 5 stars. What do you say?
5 stars.
Thank you, Karen, for sending us this recipe.
And,
I like this one.
And 5 thumbs up.
I've got about 4 potatoes here. You can use russet or Yukon Gold is even better. Slice it crosswise and chop it up into little bite-sized chunks. You don't have to be too fancy here. Then set that aside. You'll see I have about 4 cups. While I make my seasoning, I soak it in cold water. That'll keep it from going brown and get some of that starch off. Next, I have 2 teaspoons of melted butter, and I'm adding a half teaspoon of dried thyme, and then about 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper, just under a half teaspoon of salt. And you just mix that up, then drain your potatoes and pour them back into your bowl, and pour that buttery seasoning right over the potatoes and stir it up. It's so easy, you guys. Dump that into your air fryer. You do not need to spray it. Make sure you level it out, and then we're gonna bake it at 380 for 20 minutes. At the halfway point, go ahead and give it a good shake. Let it finish baking. These smell so good. And there it is. Now you could eat these as is, but I have one extra step that makes these so delicious. You'll need a glass dish or any other baking dish that will fit in your air fryer. Pour your potatoes in there, and then you're gonna pour in about 3/4 cup of chicken broth right over the potatoes, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of minced garlic. And just give it a stir, and I tell you what, it's just magical what happens next. Carefully place it in your air fryer. Your air fryer is still hot, and then you're gonna bake it at 380 for 8 to 10 more minutes, just depending on how big your little potato chunks are. And look at that, they are perfectly roasted. They're crispy on the outside and soft and yummy on the inside, and these go quick. Hot dogs? Yes, you can. Preheat is optional. Toss it in the basket, 350, 3 minutes. Hot dogs are perfect. Sizzly. Want to intensify it a little more? You can do that too. Get the bun, pop the hot dog in, 1 more minute. Perfecto. Ooh, yeah. Just ketchup and mustard. Mini bagels, mozzarella cheese, and pizza sauce, and any other topping you choose. Slice 2 little bagels in half. Then we're gonna stick them in the air fryer and then place on your toppings. 400, 4 minutes. All right, pizza bagels. Hey, now you can go check out the 17 dinner ideas for the air fryer right here. I think you'll like this one too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.